Hello, Cancer. My name is Nigel. You have found Alchemy, and this is your bonus reading. I'm only doing a few bonus readings, and it's my way of giving back to the people who really participate in the channel and give me the most views. And so it's not going to be every sign. It's going to be maybe the top 4 signs. And of course, I had to include Cancer in that. Interestingly enough, I also included Capricorn, so it's kind of like almost a cardinal thing. I'm not really sure. I didn't look to see if Aries was included. I don't think Libra was, but still. Pretty interesting. Okay, so let's get started right away. Let me grab my glasses here. You have embraced the unknown, venture into the mystery with an open heart, welcoming the lessons hidden in the uncertainty. That's 1. For 2, you have make a change, embrace growth. Another embrace card, embrace growth, seek new paths, and welcome transformations with an open heart. Wow, that's interesting. This is almost identical in many ways, right? Yeah, open heart and embrace were repeated on these cards. Very interesting. Okay, let's see this one. This one is Harmony's Call. In another embrace card, it says, embrace equality and pursue justice. Keep an open mind. Open mind and embrace as answers unveil your path to balance. So it looks like you definitely, I did Aquarius and Capricorn so far, and you're the only ones with serious keywords in the first 3 cards, right? Embrace and open, right? Open heart. Open heart, open mind, embrace. Let me write that down. Hold on one second. Hello, Cancer. Sorry about that. Not only did I write this down, but the dog just decided to jump on the table with a ball. So it was that. It's always some kind of doggy thing, you know? All right. So now, as we move to here, this is like these sacred geometry cards. And I do want to add, you know, these readings are fairly deep. And it just so happens, at least so far, the signs I've chosen to receive the readings are very deep signs. They're signs that can handle the depth, okay? You have encounter here. Let me see if I could focus that for you. Yep, so you could see it. Encounter. Now, this is a reverse card, technically speaking, right? See if I could explain this in a more simplistic way, because it can get complicated with these cards. A new cycle is present, right? With its center at the very edge of your circle, and most of the area outside your reach. Where there was 1, there are now 2. And this other is not a reflection or a subset, but an equal. Now, this reminds you that the people and patterns of interaction around you have lives and directions of their own, and they can't be treated as a passive tool. Now, what do I mean by that? It doesn't mean that you use people as tools. Everybody has their own set of goals, their own personal dynamic. And sometimes and I definitely include myself in this, I'm just coming off a relationship where I looked at someone and I chose to see what I chose to see instead of what was actually there. And so it wasn't so much that I was using this person. It was more like I just refused to see what I should have been looking at. I sort of molded him into what I wanted him to be rather than what was actually there. Okay. Now that's just one example, right? When this card appears reversed, it may be telling you that you're not taking other people's depth into account, for better or for worse, or that you may be trying to force someone into like a round peg into a square hole. Something that you want rather than what it actually is. Now, yes, it could be you refusing to see someone's bad points, like me, or it could be you looking at someone and saying, I know what's best for you, even though you might. And so why don't you just do this, this, and this, and then your life will look like this, and it'll be so much better. Why don't you let me help you? Not taking into consideration that this person might be on a completely different type of journey and have, so there is something like that. Now, this is a seed. It's card one. We're going to see how everything on this table sort of incorporates itself together. Definitely. So let's move on here. Card number 2 is disruption. Another reverse card. Reverse cards aren't good or bad in this deck. They just have they hold different meanings than the upright geometry cards. And the tetrahedron is what this card is. Disruption. It means that the design you have created is not solid enough to contain the forces you intend to call into it. The lines on your tracing board is your life, may seem firm enough, but they may turn out to be inadequate when the design is put into practice, right? You have to face the energies of the real world, the challenges of in other words, someone may have miscalculated something. They might have miscalculated the level of energy present in the situation. Either the energy needed to accomplish something, some goal isn't available, or there may be other forces in the picture that will interfere. Disruption, confusion, and chaos. It's wise to sort of batten down the hatches. Now, the thing is this could be an extension of that card. Something that you miscalculated, something that you looked at as one thing when it indeed was another. Maybe it was a relationship that you thought would be ride or die, strong, we're going to grow old together, or you're a family member that will always be there for me, or you're a friend, ride or die friend, or it's a job that I thought I was so happy with that I thought I would be in it forever. There's a miscalculation here. Now, just remember these cards, right? Embrace, open mind, open heart. There is something you need to stay open to, even though it might not be particularly easy, okay? And that's just the truth. So as we move on to the final card, we do see a little bit of a sort of pattern emerging. It says paradox. There's a paradox on the table now. And the unity of the primary roots suggests that the design on your tracing board has taken shape according to the principles that may not make sense to you in the moment. Embrace, open mind, open heart. There are things that are going to be happening. There are people, places, and things that may disappoint you, or you, perhaps, like me, you may disappoint yourself because you may realize, hey, I was projecting all these good qualities onto this person or this relationship or this situation, hoping for the best, or whatever. I'm not going to rehash that. This card reversed usually means that the situation is taking shape in ways that seem paradoxical or confusing in the moment. Things you thought were going one way turn out to be headed in a completely different direction, and your actions produce results you didn't anticipate. This can be difficult, or it could be a pleasant surprise, right? But I think in the end, you are being forced onto a new road, a new way of thinking for a reason, right? If you can learn to live with the paradox in the moment and let things unfold according to their own inner logic, even when that logic fails to make sense to you in the moment, the results will be better than if you try to force things to make it make sense to you. But just remember, the moment isn't permanent. The moment is the moment. Trust the process, right? Open mind, open heart, embrace. Embrace that is really a very strong part of this reading. Now let's move on to our archetypes here. You have, for archetype number 1, you have Metamorphosis. This honestly makes so much sense. There is a sort of metamorphosis going on. It says, power and strength lie within our surrender to change. Surrender, embrace, open mind, open heart. If you look at this archetype, she looks almost androgynous, right? She or he. It looks almost androgynous. And there are reasons for it, right? Now, the nature of life is ongoing, right? There's an invitation at times. It challenges us to participate in that perpetual metamorphosis, that creative critical thinking, authentic action, all that stuff. The maiden in this picture suggests that she clings to the androgyny of girlhood. You remember that stage right before puberty, right? Where you're sort of androgynous, right? And it definitely looks that way in this picture. Puberty, and this is a metaphor, okay? So whether you're male or female, you need to hear this, right? Puberty is propelling her out of the most insular chapter of her life. Change is a process of decay, clearing, and regeneration, and then renewal through that growth, right? And it is challenging. It is messy. It could be emotional. We can feel overwhelmed at times during this time, confused. Some people feel traumatized. Even in instances where the change has been desired, it can still feel disruptive. So you may be at a point, or you may be approaching a point where something needs to give. Once you open your eyes to certain things, you can't unsee them, Cancer, right? There may be a significant past change that remains unprocessed, therefore disruptively unassimilated to your future situation. I don't know if that makes sense. Now, it's time to recognize and act on the choices you currently have. Base your decisions on what will meet any needs that your adaptation process requires. Let go of what is letting go of you, even if they're not letting go of you in a very clear way. Once you see something, that begins the process, because it's hard to cling on to something that all of a sudden gets slippery, right? All of a sudden isn't what it used to be. Yeah. I mean, what choices are you going to make here, and why? What are you letting go of in lieu of this growth that may be a little uncomfortable in the moment? All questions that you should answer. Next up, we have false beliefs. Goes with what we were saying, right? It says, once the untruths that we believe about ourselves are illuminated, so are the ways that we can release the false limitations that can confine us. There may be something oppressive here. Once we open our eyes to a soul circle, for instance, a friend circle, what we thought was a soul tribe. Let's say that soul tribe isn't really good for us. Sometimes we start to understand that we feel, instead of free to speak our minds, we feel oppressed. We feel judged. We almost feel like keeping secrets so we don't have to deal with that. That is not your soul tribe. False limitations they confine us to. False beliefs about the people and places around us. False beliefs have the potential to be particularly dangerous because we cannot see where others are using them to manipulate and take advantage of us in some ways. When we see how our thoughts, feelings, and choices contribute to what is happening, we have the key to set us free then. This card suggests a time of increasing awareness by identifying what is actually taking place, who the people are around you. It is a redefined sort of clarity and focus, and that will begin to change the dynamic of your energy once you attain that clarity and focus, right? It's sort of like, in this photo, she is a mother. She's an archetype. Like I said, male or female. Like her, you walk away at your own pace and according to what your inner knowing allows. Step by step, you will start to see what is needed for the next step. Journaling is a very good tool. Talking through what comes up only with your journal, if there is no one around you that you feel is not judgmental, because in essence here, Cancer, you're talking to your higher self. So that might be something you need to do, something you want to do. False beliefs create darkness in areas of our mind, right? And the mind requires light the most in those areas. So hold every question in illumination. Accept the answer that shines through, even when it's contrary to what we thought it would be. The heart, like the owl in this picture, is too wise, especially yours, Cancer, and too white to ever lie or mislead. So trust yourself, okay? So next up we have these two, and I have to tell you, I like this because you have 33 and 34 coming in consecutively, and I don't know if you watched me shuffle and deal out the cards, but I fanned them out, so it would be impossible to do that purposely. You have sharing here, right? What are you sharing? Who are you sharing with? This is a trusted circle. This is something that is going to be coming to you as a gift for doing the work and making room for it. And this is yeah, your spirit is open in communion with those who are safe and pure of heart. It closes up and stays shrouded with those that who are, like I said, oppressive, judgmental, not good, not healthy for you. And being that it is consecutive, everything is happening in the way that it should, step by step. You're exactly where you should be. Once you make room for certain things and see certain things a little bit more clearly than perhaps you started out, you're climbing these steps in exactly the order you're supposed to. Some people go up 3 steps, go down 4. I mean, but in your situation, I think everything's happening in the way it should. You have circles here. It says, and man, it says, clarity begins in the eye of the storm. Wow. That absolutely fits, right? If we do nothing different happens. We will only continue to reenact our default setting automatically. Life will be lived in a circle, inevitably limits what is possible for you and on me, us, right? It can also be particularly harmful when relationships around us are need-based. Like if we're staying with someone out of financial obligation, we're staying with someone out of financial need, we're staying at a job because we have no choice, we're staying in a relationship with a family member because it's just easier it's better than being at war with your family, right? The key to becoming aware of the highly charged compulsive psychological dynamics, right? That is the key. The key to that is being self-aware and shining a light. Without clarity, we cannot exit that circle, right? It can be painful. It can be messy. To support you in this process, I highly recommend, once again, journaling, speaking to yourself, speaking to you. You can trust you, and rereading it and saying, well, if I were this person's friend, what would I tell them? What do I see here, right? The message in this situation, in this particular card, is, and she's a crone, so she's lived. She has done her share of living. It doesn't mean this really isn't age-based. You have lived, you've seen things, you've experienced things, you've learned your lessons. The message in this card is you are the white horse in this situation. It's you. Okay? Now, we're going to dip into what you don't see coming at the end of the reading, but right now we're going to do some tarot. And if you notice, the tarot is not the star of the show. This reading is, these readings have a little bit more depth to them than just predictions. But let's see. You do have the 5 of Coins coming in reverse, right? In a finance reading, that would be, the end of destitution, the end of hard times. This could very well be the end of feeling alone in a crowded room. The end of feeling alone, period. Maybe coming across your soul tribe, right? Coming across your soul tribe. Feeling empowered instead of alone, instead of abandoned, instead of suppressed, instead of judged, right? This is the reversal. And you also have the 6 of Cups. And this, the 6 of Cups here is letting go of something from the past, or putting something that is in your present moment in the past where it belongs. Rear view mirror stuff. All the stuff we discussed in this reading. There is a person, place, or thing that needs it. You have here the 10 of Wands, and we talked about this too. Not an easy thing to do. I can't say that it's not going to be hard, but I can say that it's going to be worth it, right? That's the old saying, and that's what the 10 of Wands is telling us here. Yeah. And I like that it leads right into the Death card, right? Transformation, metamorphosis. You are going to end up in a completely different place than you imagined yourself to be, with a completely different group of people than you imagined yourself with. And that's good. It's actually good. It's not predictable. It's not easy peasy. It's not like you're going to know where you are or where you're going 3 years from now. You might be in a very different place than you imagined, but I can promise you you'll be happier. You'll be better. You'll be in a better place. Now, here at the bottom of this deck, it says saving grace. This is stuff that you don't see coming. Forgiving yourself and others heals the wounds and sets you free. That is like the final boss. Facing the final boss after letting something go and putting it in your past is forgiving anything that they've done or that you've perceived them to do, just letting it go that way. Fully letting it go. Fully going into the Six of Cups energy. Six of Cups in reverse energy. Okay? At the bottom of this deck, it says emptied. It says the ending and the beginning lie at either side of the same door. Wow. If that isn't all encompassing, right, of pretty much everything that we have talked about. The card's message is, let the light that you are fill. It refuels, it expands, it radiates, and it radiates an emptiness so that it may be seen for the gateway that it is. Any degree of emptiness you experience from this situation is a blessing. It's sort of like a womb, and it has the power to birth new life, even when our circumstances seem empty. Trust the process of renewal and fulfillment. Embrace it. Yeah, the emptiness is a door that eventually opens into a brand new perspective. On the door to every ending is a handle that opens a new beginning. I really love that. Very, very beautiful, beautiful sentiment. Okay, at the bottom of this deck, you have the Page of Cups, and I like that. It's a new start of something that you're going to love. It could be a new relationship. It could be a new friendship, a new friend circle. It could be just loving the certain things about your life now, because here the depiction is message in a bottle. Somebody has received your message in a bottle, but you had to empty that space first, Cancer. And at the bottom of this deck, you have inertia. There is something inert in your energy. There just is. And that inertia, the situation is what it is. You just need to see what it is. You need to see it clearly. And there is nothing much you or anyone else can do about it that's going to change it. The only thing you can change is empty that space to bring forth new life and breathe new life into a situation where you don't feel oppressed, judged, bad, negative. If you're not feeling uplifted by the people in your life, then you're better off by yourself. And I'm telling you, that goes for family, friends. It doesn't have to be a love relationship. But there is something, it could even be a job, right? Where you go and you just feel awful every day, And yeah, you may get paid with money that you need, right? Maybe you get paid more, or maybe you just need the money in the moment. I'm not saying to go out and quit your job, but I am saying to go out and quit your job, but I'm not saying to do that tomorrow. What I'm saying is to make room for a new job. Go out and look for something that may not be in your wheelhouse in the moment, right? It may be something that you would look at and say, I can do this job, but I can't convince people on the interview that I can do this job because, it's not something I've actually done, but I know I can do it. Just do it. Go on the interview. Go on 5 interviews that you think you're not capable of being hired for. And I guarantee you something good is going to happen. You're making room. Okay. So there is a lot here. It is a fairly deep reading. I know that this is something that you Cancer can handle. And I also wanted to thank you by doing a reading for you, because the energy you put or the energy you bring with you when you listen to my readings does not go unnoticed. I wish you all the best. Namaste.